Hello, my name is Shirley Bath. I was a member of the Democratic Party since 1992. But this is my walkaway story. Uh, I'd always believed everything that I was told about the Republican Party. I never looked at the Republican Party. I never looked at their actions. I never looked at the actions of the Democratic Party. But this last few years, I mean, I've even joked that if, in 2014, if Jim Jones himself had came up to me with the Kool-Aid and said, Barack Obama wants you to drink this, I'd have guzzled it right down. But I can't do that anymore. The very first presidential election I voted in was in 1992 for Bill Clinton. We'd come off 4 years with George H. Bush, and I thought he was a terrible president. But that was 4 years. But I'd always knew that Ronald Reagan was the most awesome president of our time. I'd always, I always conceded that to my sister. Reagan was a great president. And even through the controversy, the impeachment, everything with Bill Clinton, I still supported the Democratic Party. And then Benghazi happened. I had voted for Hillary in the first primary against Barack Obama. I supported Hillary in that first primary against Barack Obama. But then after Benghazi and the lies that were coming out about everything she told, she was the Secretary of State. She was saying, well, they said that they wanted to stay. They didn't want, and that was a lie. She made every excuse of why it wasn't her fault. But you know what? You're the boss. You're the boss. What were you doing during the time when you should have been on the phone getting those 4 men and the ambassador, those men out? What was so important that you could not take care of your own people? And then I realized if I voted for her, she would be the commander-in-chief of all the military. And no, I do not have I have 3 sons. And no, none of them are in the military at this time. But they all 3 had to sign up for the draft. And even that little possibility, just that little possibility that she could at some point have a say over whether what value my sons' lives were, I couldn't support her. I had to walk away. And then I started looking. And you know what? This is really strange. When Sarah Palin came on the scene, I was such a leftist liberal. I hated Sarah Palin. I made all kinds of comments about how ugly she was. But Sarah Palin posted something one day that made me stop and look. She said that the Democrats were the party of slavery and were still the party of slavery. And I was thinking, how are they the party of slavery? I knew that they were the party of slavery. I'm from the South. I'm from Georgia. I know these things. Yes, and I know that the Ku Klux Klan was formed by the Democratic Party. Every good old boy in that KKK was a Democrat. I know this for a fact. Because some of those good old boys were part of my family. My mom, I was born 3 years before, almost 4 years before Martin Luther King was killed. He was killed like 4 days before my 4th birthday. And my mom, she taught us Martin Luther King's dream. And she taught us, if you're going to hate somebody, which the Bible tells us that we're not supposed to hate anybody. And I think that word gets distorted a lot these days. But she told us, if you're going to hate somebody, hate for something they've done for you. Not because of the color of their skin, not from where they're from, not what they wear. And she taught us that Martin Luther King's dream was the same dream as Jesus had. That we to love one another as we love ourselves. And even that dream of Martin Luther King has got bastardized. They talk about Dr. Martin Luther King. The left never says Reverend Martin Luther King. It's Dr. Martin Luther King. Just like over this past weekend with the Sri Lanka attacks. And it was not Christians that were attacked. It was Easter worshipers. We don't worship Easter. We worship Christ. We celebrate Easter because we celebrate Easter because of Christ. Because Christ rose from the dead on that day. He overcame death. And he gave us our promise of life. The left needs to learn that lesson. And they need to learn that Martin Luther King's dream will never be as long as they keep those attitudes. And this is from a Southern white lady teaching them about Martin Luther King's dreams. Because Martin Luther King Jr., at his heart, at his soul, was a child of Christ. His dream was not that he wanted equality for everybody. But he also his dream was actually that we love each other enough to give each other that respect of equality. To give it's not something that it's just because we have to, because of a law. And there have been changes in the South, and then, everybody keeps wanting to say the South is so hate-filled and so divided. Yeah, this may be where it started from the get-go. But you know what? The slavery that is taking place these days is being held in Chicago. The inner city kids of Chicago are the slaves these days. Because the Democratic Party do not want to give them the dream of being out, to be able to have a better life with themselves. They give them subpar education. So they're stuck in this thing. The slave masters, if they wanted to control the slaves, they realized the best way to do that was to control the children. They didn't want to starve the workers, but they would starve their children. They could starve their children. And when somebody starts starving your child, you will do anything. Anything. But that's your Democratic Party of today. And it's the same Democratic Party that was started in 1860, right before the Civil War. It's the same people. Same storyline. Same tactics. I've always prided myself on, I look at people's actions. And you know what? I got lost in that. I got lost in that mess. The message got lost in my head. I started looking at actions. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, is he the greatest human being on the earth? No, he's not. Would I want to date him? Oh, hell no. Would I want my daughter to date him? And no. He's a jerk. Everybody knows he's a jerk. He knows he's a jerk. But have you ever heard him say, oh, I'm not a jerk? But you know what? You sort of have to be a jerk to run a business. You have to make those hard decisions sometimes. And this decision I had to make. I had to make the decision of either, oh, I support that party, that hardline party. And don't tell me that Barack Obama was so inclusive in his presidency. That's a bunch of lie. That's a bunch of hogwash. Barack Obama wanted to divide this country. He wanted to take down this country, just like Hillary Clinton wanted to take down this country. But you know what? They forgot that there are still people like me. Even though, yeah, I supported them in the past, I'm smart enough to know when to get out. I'm smart enough to know what's best for my country. I love this country. And anybody can say, this is such a filth hole. This is the worst country on earth. There's no civil rights. You know what? You're lying to yourself if you say that. You have more civil liberties in this country in one day than most people will ever see in their lifetimes. And yes, Christians are coming under attack. I am a Christian. I believe that God is sovereign over this country. And you can try your damnedest. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Wannabes, 12 years, really? I'm supposed to believe that crap? When I know the creator of this earth as my personal Lord and Savior. Do you honestly think that he's going to let us destroy this earth? Something that he created? No, he's not. He's not. So this is your political, biblical sermon all in one row. Yeah, y'all get the jackpot on this time. But I have just gotten sick of all of it. Democrats, you need to learn to let go. You need to get real. You need to look hard at yourself. Bernie Sanders, really? That's the best you got? Y'all really scraping that bottom of the poop hole barrel. And Kamala Harris, oh please. She don't know a yes or no answer. She's never better yes or no answer that she liked. Yes or no, right? And Rachel Maddow, that woman needs to give her, y'all, I know mental illness, y'all. Please believe me. I'm a nurse, first of all. And I am crazy, and I revel in my crazy, so I know crazy. But Rachel Maddow, that's just batshit crazy. Yeah, I said it. I'm so sick and tired of people trying to take down our country, trying to take down our God-given rights. I believe God had a hand in starting this country. Because you know what? If it wasn't for this country, God, the reason we support the Jews, the Christians support the Jews, is because, yes, they are still God's chosen people. And we are to treat them as such, as God's people. To do so would be going against God. And you can take your little Muslims, and I really don't care. You can call me homophobic, racephobic. I don't care. You can take the Muslims and take them back to Turkey or Sri Lanka, or wherever they come. I don't care. Personally, I think our country would be just fine without them. Somebody did something. Send her back to Swahili or where the heck she came from. She is Ilhan Omar. Is about as bright as a bunch of rocks. And you can call me racist if you want to. But you know what? My family knows me. My family knows who I am. See, my family is a melting pot of different races, different nationalities. In 1969, I was given a lovely cousin named Jason. One of the first biracial babies born in the state of Georgia. I think it was in 1969. I was a little young then. But he's only 4 or 5 years younger than I am. And Jason was this wonderful young little boy that we played with up until my mom died when I was 12. And then my mom was the glue that held our family together. My mom was the glue that held our sanity together, to be honest. But putting down our president to suit your agenda is not going to work. People are smarter than what you think they are. People eventually look and see the truth. The Mueller report didn't show anything because there wasn't anything to show. Yet, y'all want to go on about, Donald Trump used the hacked emails, the leaked emails that Russia had hacked. So that puts him in collusion. Well, you know what? If Hillary Clinton's dumb butt hadn't had the emails out there to get, they wouldn't have been out there. He wouldn't have had nothing. So why should he not use them? She is the one that put our national security at risk, not Donald Trump. He used it, but you know what? Wouldn't it have been stupid not to? Would you not? You would have criticized him if he hadn't. You would have criticized him if he hadn't pointed out the hypocrisy. So you can go on off all your little rants about when, Donald Trump used the emails. He must have been in collusion. No, Donald Trump. Hillary had the emails on her servers. We're at home. So what was so important that, why was she so important? Why did she think she had the right to have these cell phones, these Blackberries, these iPads, and these servers that all had unclassified material, had classified material at her house? You can try to say, she had all these firewalls. Well, apparently it wasn't that good because the Russians hacked it. And yeah, for Donald Trump not to show and point out to these, that would make him a stupid man. And one thing we know, Donald Trump's not stupid. And you want to go off about, he's misogynistic, he's racist. Racist? Let's see. The man that was honored with Rosa Parks. Racist? The man that gives millions, who gave millions through the Miss Universe Foundation for scholarships for women every year, doesn't support women. The man who's top aides, top inner circle are women. And yet you think he shouldn't listen to Melania? Please. That's his wife. Would you not listen to your wife? Or your husband? Or whatever the heck he is, you isms. But I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of the Mueller report. I'm sick and tired of you putting down our country. I'm sick and tired of you putting down our Christianity, our humanness. You can say all you want about the Republican Party. You can say all you want about Donald Trump. But remember, if you point a finger at somebody else, you got four pointing back at you. So you might want to look at yourself and where you stand. And if you're Christian at all, stand up for Christians. They were not Easter worshipers. They were fellow children of Christ. They were my brothers and sisters. I may not have known them, but we have the same Father. And if you can't understand that one fact, I'm sorry for you.